Hello everyone, this is Resident Evil 6, no hope difficulty, no damage, and this is chapter 3. This time we have a shorter chapter. It's actually half of the length of a normal chapter, and it didn't took me too long to record it, thankfully, because more hard drive space. Lately my hard drive space has been really running low because I have a lot of projects to upload to YouTube. And as I'm recording this, I have like I still have chapter 8 through 15 of Dead Space 2 to upload. Still no commentary. So this is going to take a while, and then I'll have Max Payne 3, which supposedly when this is all uploaded, it will when this video is uploaded, it will probably be all there. The run will be all there completed. So this is going to take a while. This is going to be in the future. So if something that I say now is not accurate, for example, I remember talking about Resident Evil Remake 3 in chapter 1, and when this run is all complete and all on YouTube, probably that game is like 1 month old already. So yeah, if I say something that is inaccurate about that game in that video, especially in that video, it's probably because of that. And as I'm recording this now, the game the game literally came out like today. So yeah, I'm a little bit. I'm probably not going to talk a lot about the dates when I record, because it's kind of weird. But I'm mentioning now because I have so much on hold. I've like 100 gigabytes of videos to upload. So if it seems a little bit weird, it's because of that. Because this run is going to be uploaded really late, and I'm not going to record more because I want to be up to date with my commentary. So I'm just going to upload everything before recording more RE6 and another really weird hitbox. It's been happening a lot. It's really weird, and I'm glad that it's like this. Even though I think it would still be fair if I got hit by that, but alright. Yeah, I'm letting Elena deal with him because I know that Elena can parry him, but she's not doing it right now. She's only dodging him, so I get impatient and I start attacking him. I'm starting to experiment with the knife, and when I started experimenting with him with the knife, I discovered that this enemy is not actually that dangerous. So you can easily mess with him with the knife. It's not that hard. So I will start to be a little bit more comfortable here. It takes long, but if you don't want to waste ammo, going with the knife is probably the best way. Look at this. I don't know if the stun is like a normal enemy, but it seemed to stun like in 1 to 2 hits. And this stun animation is not really that distinctive, unlike the other zombies. And this chapter is really short, like I said before. It's only 36 minutes compared to the 55-minute chapter unedited, because not edited, because unedited is like 2 hours, 3 hours. I think last chapter was 3 hours, and this one took me unedited is like 50 minutes. So it was easy. It is an easy chapter, and it's not bad. So I like this chapter. It's short, it's sweet. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I think if it was a little bit long, I would probably not like it as much, because I don't really like this setting right now, this kind of catacombs setting with the caves and stuff like that. I like the water though. The water is really cool. I like the water boss, even though the water boss is not. It's just a quick time event, and then yeah, it's basically a quick time event. Even the last part where you can shoot him, it's not really that complicated. It's just a quick time event, just a reflex. You just need to shoot a barrel. The game will literally be on slow motion to tell you that you need to shoot a barrel anyway. So it's nothing. It doesn't have to do with skill, that boss, but it's still cool. And I know that quick time events are controversial, but I actually quite like them. I'm one of those people that fall for eye candy in video games, and quick time events, to me, if, a really good quick time event needs to be fair, and it needs to be really eye candy. If it's like fair and it's not really eye candy, it's nothing. It's not a big deal to me. It's like, okay, whatever. If it's unfair and not eye candy, I really hate that. I mean, I've done a run of Rambo the video game, and those quick times events are so bad. They're really unfair, and they are definitely not eye candy. But yeah, oh, this part is really, it's probably the most challenging part in this chapter, even though it's easy. I would suggest turning this crank on this part, killing the most enemies that you can that are trying to cross the bridge, because one of them will be one of those red ones, and when these guys spawn in, you can deal them with incendiary, and they won't spawn anymore. So, and the incendiary I can't speak, will kill them, like will kill almost everyone, and if someone is alive, I think Elena will deal with them. uh, I think there's a dynamite guy too, and hopefully he doesn't get near you. I think this is the chapter where they introduce the dynamite guys. Yeah, I think this is the chapter where they introduce the dynamite guys, and if you stand a little bit too close to them, you will take a little bit of damage. But from my experience, it's pretty the explosion radius is pretty fair. So if you don't stand too close, it's pretty good. And there's the enemies with dynamite strapped into them. I've seen one, and I thought I was going to take damage when I shot the dynamite. So I was trying to shoot their legs. It didn't really. It did. The shooting the legs in this game and trying to make them fall over. Unfortunately, it's not really a thing in this game. I mean, you can do it, but it's inconsistent and it takes really long. Unfortunately, that was the thing with Resident Evils, like Resident Evil 4 and 5. That was the main thing. Shoot them in the leg, they will fall over, and you can knife them or stomp them. This game doesn't happen. I I shoot them in the leg even when they're running, and it doesn't do anything. So, or maybe I didn't do it right, but I didn't really try it that much because the first time it didn't do it for me. So I shot the dynamite that was strapped to the enemy, and and the explosion didn't damage me, and it was really close. And when we get to that part, it will show, because it should hit, but it didn't really hit. So I guess it's fair. Even though I did a trick shot, maybe it was the trick shot gave me iframe somehow. I don't know. Sorry about that. So yeah, this part is not. It's just two enemies. You need to wait for Elena to do her thing. The only thing hard, if you want to make this chapter really hard and really challenging, play as Elena, because Elena will do all the hard work in here, and thankfully she doesn't have an elf bar. So if she had an elf bar, this would have been really hard if you played as Leon for the wrong reasons. But if you play as her, it would probably be really hard. Not for the wrong reasons, because you are playing as her, so you can control what you're doing. But I don't know. There's some sections that Elena does in this that it involves turning cranks really slowly while infinite enemies spawn, and I don't know how I would adapt to that situation if I was playing as Elena. It would be definitely challenging because I hate that. Like surviving a gauntlet in this game that is, kill based. I don't mind. I've done it. Chapter 2 gauntlet wasn't that bad. And it was chapter 1's gauntlet was challenging, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't but when the infinite enemies respawn and you have to slowly turn like a crank, oh, that I would have a problem with that, most definitely. So I don't know. I don't know if I would want to try to play as Elena and see how challenging it is, but I bet it would be really challenging because she has a lot of enemies, and I don't think I have enough incendiary grenades to deal with a lot of enemies like that. Here I'm trying to get past here. I won't do anything fancy, I'm just going to roll. I'm not going to slide, wasting stamina. So the slide, even if you don't hit anyone, it wastes stamina anyway. I think the trick shot does waste stamina too, even if you don't hit anyone. But the melee, if you're not hitting anyone, the melee won't do anything. So this is another part where she has to turn a... Oh no, that's not her. I thought it was Elena, lol. But there will be parts where Elena will be turning cranks and there will be infinite enemies. There she is. Now you have to kill everyone till you get a drop, and one enemy will drop a crank, so you can turn it, and I think it's one of those two, which makes sense, I guess. It will be always in there, which I think it's to make it harder to get to the crank, so you can cheese it, I guess. But here's me thinking that I need to wait or something like that, but it's not. I just need to kill the enemy that drops the crank, which I don't know which one it is. So I will kill everyone. So there's more spawning, and I think one of them is the one that drops crank. I think it is one of those two guys that spit acid. Yeah, it is. You can. I think they do that on purpose. The enemies don't just stay in there under the trap, so that it's harder for you to get the crank. So that you don't skip anyone. So here I am trying to. Ooh, there's. Right. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. I remember this. I was like, oh shit, but if you get the parry down, it's not that hard. The only thing that could screw me here is that if they didn't jump, and they jump, thankfully they jump a lot, so. Yeah, the key is definitely the enemies were just there, or they purposely made the crank drop from a long range enemy so that it would be harder for me to come here and grab it. That was I wasn't expecting that, but I'm not. Am I? Come on, don't waste your time with that. Yeah, don't. I'm not gonna waste my time with that. Am I? Why? Oh, I guess since I want to turn the crank, I don't really want to leave anyone. So you can really skip them anyway, so yeah, makes sense. And then after this, after you turn this crank, you will progress to the probably, I'm not gonna say the hardest area. It looks intimidating though, but it's not the hardest area. You can just run through it. Like I did. I think I'm going to skip a lot of them. So here is Elena getting hit. I'm still glad that she doesn't have an health bar. I don't really like these moments of when your partner gets separated. Like Resident Evil 5 did a few of them, but it wasn't really that long. And there wasn't really any engagement, if I remember correctly. So it wasn't really that bad. Sheva would always be with you, and she would do a pretty good job at being with you and helping you. So that's pretty good. If you gave her the right weapons, and if you knew how to use her in each encounter, Sheva was a pretty good partner. Most people just would, you know, you just would let her be and do her own thing and expect her to to be an amazing AI. But if you want Sheva to be a good partner and a good AI, you really need to know what to give her and what to give her, and she will do the right thing, you know. The majority of the times you just really you just need to let her do her thing, and it's not really that complicated. I don't think Sheva is that bad. Just don't give her herbs, because on professional, if you get down, and she has like the spray animation is so long that you will probably die. At least on co-op it was like that. Yeah, so I won't really engage that much in this part. I will kill the Shriekers because they can do really good damage from a really good range, so I wouldn't recommend letting the Shriekers live that long, unless you're pretty sure that you're going to progress to the next area where they can't affect you. So I will kill the Shriekers. They're not really that hard of an enemy. They're really fair enemy, which Leon's campaign does a pretty good job in that. Every enemy in this campaign so far has been really fair and a really good enemy. There's the fat guy. There's two of them. You just need to dodge them so you can go across the bridge. And speaking of fair enemies, I don't think there's an enemy that it's unfair on this campaign till now. Every enemy has been treating me right, you know. Every time I get damaged, it's not bullshit. It's all fair. It's all my fault. So I don't know. It's really good. I guess I'm still, like I said many times, I wonder how Chris's campaign is going to change my point of view of this game. Because Chris's campaign didn't really help me not didn't really help me not hating this game, because it was really bad, my experience. I wonder if that's going to change, but if I if I have to admit Leon's campaign is solid. so far. So far. We'll see. I think next chapter, probably chapter 4 or chapter 5. I think chapter 4 is all on a plane, if I remember correctly. And this is the part where if you play as Elena, this is the challenging part. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's on chapter 5 where Leon's probably going to fight Juavos, so we'll see about that. We'll see how well the game will continue to treat me, because Juavos are something that I really didn't like in Chris's campaign. So here, I tried to help Elena. I think you really need to help her because she needs to turn the cranks, and she doesn't do a really good job on her own holding to kill these enemies, and if you don't do it yourself, she probably won't turn the crank because she will get stun locked forever. So I even try over here to tell her to just go to the crank, but it doesn't work that way. She will get stun locked anyway. So not that she does a bad job, but she does pretty good damage. I think the AI partner on this one does the same damage as you, even though they have infinite life, which is pretty good. Same as RE5. RE5 did the same thing, even though Sheva had limited health, so it was fair that she had to do the same damage. Another game that is co-op. It's Dead Space 3. And this is the guy that has the dynamite strapped. And here's where I test the range, and as you can see the range is not bad, it's really good. And here I'm just trying to get their legs. Oh, and he falls down. But I was trying to stomp, and that was reflex. That wasn't really my intention. I wouldn't blow him up near me intentionally. That was just my trick shot reflex, and it worked. So Leon didn't take damage. So another design choice that I agree with. 1 point to this game, another point to this game, and it probably kills nearby enemies too. So I have to give points this game. But as I was saying, Dead Space 3, another co-op game that a lot of people don't like. I personally don't really like it too, because I think some of the balance in the game got ruined because of the co-op. They didn't even bother to balance each mode that you play. If you play single player mode or co-op mode, there will be the same enemy placements, if I'm not mistaken, by the way. But in my experience, it was like that: same enemy placement, same maybe different enemy life, but I don't think so. And that kind of ruined the balance of the game, and people didn't really like that, and I didn't really like that too. The enemies in Dead Space 3 are really tanky, so it really changed the small things. It really changed the game in a real negative way. To me, the problem is not the action or the story. To me, the problem is really the balance. There's really issues in that regard. But the game as a whole, I played it. I did all the trophies, and it wasn't really. No, I didn't hate the game, though it had its problems, especially when Dead Space 2 was such a perfect game. Um, but I did the trophies. I didn't really want to touch the game again, which is a shame because Dead Space 2 and Dead Space 1, I really love those games, and I bought Dead Space 3, not Dead Space 3, Dead Space 1 3 times, on Steam, on Origin, and on PlayStation 3 because I love that game so much. Same with Dead Space 2, but I didn't buy Dead Space 2 on Origin. I bought it on Steam and PlayStation 3. And I really love those games. I did all the trophies for them. Mine is, you know, Dead Space 1, because I was a PC main on Dead Space 1. I only played a little bit on PlayStation 3, but since I came from PC, the game didn't look really good in terms of frame rate and resolution, so it was fun. The PlayStation version, there's nothing wrong besides that. It's a fun version if you didn't have a choice back in the day. Dead Space 2, I bought it first time for the PlayStation 3. I guess I mainly played it on PlayStation 3, so I got all the trophies, and I had a lot of replay value in that game. And on PC, when I got it on PC, oh, I played it a lot. Let me tell you that, because the Dead Space 2 on PC is the definitive way to play, in my opinion. So, and it's sad that Dead Space 3 was. I just did the trophies, didn't really want to touch the game again. And I sold the game too, which is ironic. I bought the other versions 3 times, and Dead Space 3 I buy it 1 time and then sell it, which is sad, kinda sad. But I'm thinking of buy it again for PC and see if I can do a no damage run, and a commentated one, since I did Dead Space 1, Dead Space 2. Why not conclude it with Dead Space 3? And I don't know if I'm going to do Plasma Cutter only, because no, I'm definitely going to do no upgrades, but Plasma Cutter only. Maybe with upgrades. I have to sacrifice one thing, because from what I remember from that game, the like I said before, the enemy balance is really, it's messed up, and there's a lot of really bad design choices and tanky enemies. So even when you are upgraded in that game, you just don't feel really powerful. The only thing I will admit that probably helps, I don't know if probably a lot of people don't like that. I don't mind that. I don't really care. It's the bullets. I think there's only one universal um, ammo type for every gun. No, well, I don't know if I'm remembering right. I'm probably full of shit, but I remember only being one type of ammo, and it was for every gun. I don't know if I'm right again. Probably not. I played last time I played that game was like 5 years ago or 4 years ago. I don't even remember. But I think it was like that. And Elena, being an amazing partner, blocking my way. She will do that quite a few times, by the way. She'll just block me when my oxygen is really low. Look at her. Look at her. Huh? Why? Jesus Christ. I wonder if you command her to move away, it works. I didn't try. I think I'm going to get grabbed in here, yeah. And it wastes oxygen too. Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for Elena, I would be dead. And it would be harder for me to edit this video. Dude, this looks cool. That skull over there, the dead zombie, looks really cool. Really like that angle. Yeah, Dead Space 3. I still want to do a run for it, so I'll see how that goes. And since I'm going to commentate it, I will talk a lot about my experiences on my Dead Space 1 run and Dead Space 2 run, since I didn't commentate those runs. Hopefully it will be a nice experience and the game doesn't treat me bad, because I never did a no damage run of that game. I don't really know if that game will treat me well for it, so. But yeah, this is Resident Evil 6, by the way. Not a lot is happening. It's just water. This water section is it's really boring. It's not people. There's a thing with video games and water sections, underwater sections, not water sections in general. And that thing is that they are really bad in terms of controls, and this one is not terrible. It's not good either. I mean, I think Leon could swim a little bit faster, but at least the controls are not clunky and awkward. I think there's a really infamous one in Metal Gear Solid 2 where the controls underwater are terrible. But yeah, this is just a quick time event. It doesn't really look that eye candy. Just boring. It could be a cutscene where I could skip it, so, but it isn't. Yeah, I think the set pieces in this game are better than the QTEs. Resident Evil 5 had really eye candy QTEs though. I approve. The QTEs in Resident Evil 5 were really eye candy. They were my type of QTEs. I'm a sucker for QTEs. People hate it, but I love it when it's done right and it's eye candy, like I said. Vanquish has really eye candy QTEs, and they're not really that hard. They're really fun. I'm not going to say they're really fun. They're just there to eye candy because pressing a button repeatedly doesn't really involve that much skill or reflex, and you can't go really wrong with mashing a button in a QTE. So I have a problem with those QTEs where you just need to press a button at the right time and the right button, and again, Rambo the video game and pretty horrible QTEs for that. They were terrible. My god, that game was bad for the QTEs. Jesus Christ, I wish that game didn't have QTEs. It wouldn't be such a bad game, even though Rambo the video game is a bad game. I had fun though. I had a lot of fun on the rail shootings. I love rail shooters, and again, Dead Space, talking about Dead Space again, had a really good rail shooter. I really love that Dead Space rail shooter. Another rail shooter that I wanted to try was the Resident Evil ones. I tried it on emulator to do for my channel since I was on a rail shooter mood, and I wanted to do an actual good rail shooter. But the mouse sensitivity for the Wii emulator is so bad. It's nearly it's nearly impossible to play that game accurately with the mouse. And I don't really want to have a controller for that game. I don't really like to play rail shooters with controllers. I think the mouse is the right way to go, or the light gun if you have the light gun, or the PlayStation Move, which I played Dead Space Extraction with the PlayStation Move, and that's the right way to do it, in my opinion. Because controllers are not really that accurate, and that rail shooters you just need to be accurate. Which Rambo the video game, if you watched my run, you're probably gonna think that that's not true, because I'm not really accurate. My aiming is really bad in that game, and it's an universal thing. My aiming is bad in every game. This game, I'm bad at aiming in this game. That's why I only use the quick shot, the trick shot, because I'm so bad at aiming. It's really, I'm not really good at shooting. You have seen through my runs. If you've seen my runs, Max Payne 3, hopefully hardcore run will be available when this comes out, and you'll see how bad I am. Dead Space 2, again, not the best aim. My first Max Payne 3, definitely not my best aim. Which game did I cover besides that? The Evil Within, which I'm going to continue, by the way, after this. Hopefully, when I get all uploaded and I start uploading this run, I will go back to The Evil Within because I love that game. That game is perfect. It's the best game I ever played, and it's a shame that I have so many things going at the same time that I'm going to leave it for the end because oh man, I really love The Evil Within. But yeah, there's other games that it's really, you need precision, and the Evil Within my aiming, it's not really shows because that game there's a million ways to deal with fights in that game that doesn't require you to aim really good. I need Ninja Gaiden, but it's not really accurate. And again, this is a quick time event. You just need to shoot a barrel and then go slow-mo, and that's the end of the boss. Not really that special. But I think other than that, I don't have any other games that requires accuracy. Vanquish, yeah, Vanquish. Another game that I really left. I left it because not really. It's a really good game, but just not, I don't. I get burned out of it really quickly. But yeah, this is the end of the chapter. My rank this time was S rank because I didn't die, so probably ranks are more affected by the deaths and the time than anything else. So yeah, I hope you're enjoying this run, and I see you next time.